Hey, this is Eric from Satisfied Incorporated here. Today I wanted to bring you a video on how to install or how to put together the BC coilovers when you have to weld them to the strut housing. So to start off, if you need any BC coilovers, I don't deal with just BMWs, I deal with all cars. So if you need some BC coilovers, hit me up and I can get you taken care of. And what I'm doing here is this customer had bought these coilovers and I do the welding for free. So if you want to send me the little piece of the strut housing, I will weld them on and I will ship them to you. So that's an option. So anyway, check out the website, satisfiedincorporated.com. And if I don't have your coilovers for your car on there, let me know. Send me an email, info@satisfiedincorporated, and I'll get you taken care of. Also, if you want to like and subscribe and do all that stuff, or if you don't want to, that's cool too. I like to freeload on YouTube also sometimes. So what I'm doing here is you got to take these lower retainers off. This is what's going to get welded to the strut housing. So you can see here I'm breaking free the collar. Once you loosen that up, then you can go ahead and you can start unscrewing the lower retaining sleeve, I guess I'd call it. So this is your introduction to carpal tunnel if you don't already have it. This is kind of a fine thread, and you can sit there and just wear your wrists out instantly. So that's what I'm doing right now. And there might be a better way to take these off. And actually, I'm just kind of doing this for the video, but what I'll do is I'll actually put that in my lathe, then I'll hold the shock, and I let it unthread it for me. I can't do that when I put them back on. There's another way you can turn that around. You can hold the part that I'm spinning right now, and you can take the little adjustment knob off the top, and then you can use a drill, or you can use an impact wrench or something of the sort, and you can turn that top nut and unscrew it that way. That way works pretty good too, and it's pretty fast. Just don't unloose, or just don't loosen up that top screw. You don't want to mess with that nylock nut. So what we got next here is you got to have your strut housings, right? So this customer sent me a brand new OEM NLA set of strut housings. So that's what you want to do, is you want to take a brand new set of strut housings that would help somebody out immensely, and then we want to destroy them, because you do not want to take an old rusty pair that works just as well and send these perfect ones to somebody who would really like to restore their car. Obviously, I'm joking, but do what you want to do. Some people like these kind of things, nice things for the car. So that's up to the customer, and I don't mind. So send me the brand new ones, and let's do what we got to do. So you can see here I marked, what am I doing here? About 2 inches. Yeah, about 2 inches from that where the cast starts. That's where we're going to draw our line, and that's where we're going to cut it off. So this doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't really matter. Give me, 2 inches, 2.5. It doesn't matter. Just ballpark it. And then you can see here, for some reason I chose the angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, which I feel like this is the first time I've ever done this, because that was a bad choice in tooling. But I guess I'm forgetful in my old age here. So I start off with the cutoff wheel and the angle grinder. And problem is, you're only going to get so far on that thing. The cutoff wheel is going to stop you when you get too far. Gives a nice clean cut, puts sparks all over your face, and rips your jacket up even more. So in a second here, you'll see, yep, I'm moving to the Sawzall. Finish this cut off. Should have just started with the Sawzall, and then you'll see on the next one I actually learned too that just throw it in the vise. You got a vise right there. Why not use it? So we all do stupid things, and we don't know why, and this is a good example of me proving that. So here's my brand new OEM NLA strut housing, and that's the cutoff there, 2 inches. Don't worry about like having it perfect. Like I say, don't worry about a square cut. Don't get too picky about it. Just cut it. So here I am in the vise, a little bit smarter this time. Okay, and there they are. There's both of them right there. So now what we need to do is we're just gonna clean up the, we're gonna get all the paint off, right? Because if you're gonna weld, you don't want paint, you don't want rust, you don't want debris. So get in there right next to that where the cast starts into the mild steel. Clean that up as good as you can. And like I said, let's get a good weld, no porosity. Don't worry about the area between that strut housing tube and the spindle. You can't really get in there with anything, and we're not even going to weld in there anyway. I guess ideally, if you wanted something really strong, you'd want to weld in between there. But the thing is, if you ever wanted to take these back off, I mean, I don't know, you'd have to destroy everything to get into that weld. And plus, I just don't think these are going to fail. So all I do is I just weld where you can see and where I can get the wire wheel. So anyway, we're going to clean up this, the cast connection there, and then just kind of clean around the top side of that steel tube so we can slide those sleeves on. Okay, all done there, all cleaned up. You can see, you just want to get down to the bare metal as good as you can in there. So now you want to pay attention. These are E21 coilovers, so you can see the clamp on part to the sleeve there. That's going to, you can remove that and you can turn it and you can do everything. But some coilovers, such as like a E28, they're welded to that sleeve. So you want to pay attention to the left and to the right, and make sure you put them on the correct side. Usually there's a notch in the bottom of that sleeve, and you want the notch to fit on the notch of the spindle. These E21s, I don't believe have them, so you don't really have to pay attention to the orientation or anything. Like I said, it's if you put them on wrong, you just take that ring back off. Those rings are to hold your brake lines, ABS lines if you have them, things like that. So we're just gonna, you got to make sure they're a little bit straight. Some of these sleeves will like fit on pretty tight, and then some will be pretty loose. And if they're loose, you can actually misalign them. So you want to make sure that sleeve's nice and straight on that spindle there. Then I just start at one end, and then I'm going to work my way over. That's just a really good tack. Get some gloves on. Oh, and here's a pro tip for you. So I leave a gap. So I leave, whatever, a 1/4 inch gap there. The reason I do that is because the bottom piece and the spindle, that's all going to be cast. So you got the mild steel in there in that tube, and then you got the mild steel for the BC coilover. What we really want is we want to get some penetration in there on the mild steel tubes, because that cast gives a little bit better, or a little less strength. So I leave about a 1/4 inch gap in there, and then aim for that and hope that I get a little bit of penetration on there too. If you want to, you can just you can push it all the way down, and that's the way I used to do it. And you'll be able to get quite a bit of you'll get a decent enough weld on the cast. I don't think it's enough to worry about as long as you're a decent welder. So, but if you want to be smarter about it, let's get some of that mild steel in there. Try to take that all the way into the, as far as you can go. Like I say, I wouldn't worry about going too far, because then you're going to have to deal with the weld if you ever want to remove it. So just take it all the way as far as you feel comfortable. There we go. We're all welded up. You can see that I was able to get some penetration in there between the cast and the bottom of the sleeve. So same with the next one. Just make sure that, like I said, if you're doing a right and a left side, make sure that coilover sleeve's correct. I said on the E21 like I got here, it doesn't matter. Get my 1/4 inch gap set. You can also eyeball that 1/4 inch gap and make sure you're straight. I guess that could be the one downside to doing that 1/4 inch gap is that when you push it all the way down on the cast, you know it's mostly straight. Still kind of have to check. You don't want if you were off, say, then your camber and your caster could be off just a touch. But camber is not too big of a problem with these because you have adjustable camber. Which, by the way, you don't want to just when you're setting your camber with these when you install them, you don't want to just do the lines on the top of the coilover. You want to actually measure your wheel and see how much caster you have at the wheel. And it's for reasons like this. Things can be a little bit off. Your control arms could be a little bit longer. Your coilover sleeve that you're welding on right now could be misaligned, something like that. But as far as the caster or the caster, not the camber. As far as the caster goes, if you weld this tube on and it's crooked, then now you have different caster front to back on each side. So just try to weld it on straight. So both are done. That's the welding process. Just taking a brass brush there with my drill and cleaning up my welds a little bit. Just another overview of what the weld looks like. Hopefully you can see where I start and stop. Now here's another big pro tip that nobody talks about, which is funny. Get some anti-seize, because what we're doing here is sometimes you can mess with those coilover sleeves and just a little bit of mess up in those fine threads and you're going to end up in a world of pain. So if you got like a little weld spatter on the internal or external threads, or you got those threads, you got those too hot, man, when you thread that coilover in there and if it seizes up, dude, you are in some pain. You are in some pain. You might have to buy new coilovers. So by adding that anti-seize, you're really going to save yourself that problem. And another thing is even if you already own coilovers and they're already welded to the strut housing like this, next time you take them apart, I would add anti-seize also, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll get rust or sediment or something, and then you can't unscrew and you can't adjust the ride height of your coilover. So it's obviously super important that you want that to be able to spin freely at all times. That anti-seize will really help. So as you can see here, I am just threading back in and I am increasing my carpal tunnel once again. It's brutal, but I just grab one of the studs and act like a crank. But man, your wrists just totally pay the price on all this stuff. Just repetitive motion, turning, more turning right there. Brutal. Now, you don't necessarily have to thread these all the way in if you're doing your car, because I doubt that you're going to be at the lowest setting on your car. The reason I'm doing this is because I got to fit them back in the box and I need as much room as possible now that I've added these spindles. So looky here, we got a brand new OEM set of spindles installed on the BC Coilovers. Really nice setup. Now let's do the next one. Same. As you can see, getting them started is the hardest part. It's just a little bit wonky, and maybe this is where I should have been a little smarter and used my vise again. But I don't necessarily do things the most effective way all the time. I guess I will say, just another note on that anti-seize is if you're spinning these in right now, you can see how easy it is. It doesn't take any effort. So if it starts getting bound up, then don't force it in. Don't try to make it go in. I would back it out again, and then I would make sure you have anti-seize where it's kind of getting held up right there, and then I'd go back in, because that's what I was trying to tell you before is if you get to the point where you start galling the threads internally or externally there, it's a bad place to be. It's a really bad place to be. So you don't even want to go there. Just make sure it's spinning in as easily as I'm doing it right there. Okay, and so that's it. That's pretty much the completed front coilovers for the weld-on setup. So the rear should be complete, so you should be able to just bolt everything on now. Like I said, so what I do is I offer the coilovers and I weld the strut housings for free because I know it's one of the things that deter people from buying these coilovers, and I really believe in them. I like them. And so I want people to have the opportunity to own them if they don't have a welder or if they don't want to deal with finding somebody to weld them for them. So I offer the free welding. The thing to think about is it is free welding, but I have to charge you to ship these to you. And the reason I have to do that is because um, most people don't just keep these BC coilovers in stock. What they do is they order them from BC and then they drop ship them. So that's also what I do. And when you drop ship them, they ship for free. But if you think about the process here, what is happening is I order them from BC and they ship them to me for free. So then I have them in my hands, but then the problem is I have to ship them to you now. So just to be crystal clear, I do weld for free, but I have to charge for shipping. So it's usually about $100, and you get everything welded and returned to you. So I'm not trying to mislead anybody. So just letting you know, it's about $100 more to have me weld them, even though it's free, if that makes sense. But that's not my fault. I would, well, let's just say this. If you were local in the Washington or Portland, Oregon area, then it is free because then you can just come pick them up and I don't have to charge you for that shipping. So I'm just going to finish up boxing this up for this guy and then get him on the way to him. And hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully that gives you some encouragement to make your own BC coilovers. You can see it's not that hard, not that bad if you got a welder and you know how to weld. Or you can maybe show this video to a mechanic or somebody who does weld, and you can get them to do it for you and not have them freak out about how hard it is. So I appreciate you watching. Like I said, if you want to subscribe or you want to like this video or you want to comment or just do nothing, that's cool. Check out satisfiedincorporated.com. I got a bunch of classic BMW parts that are either hard to find or don't exist. Like I make them custom. I do a lot of 3-piece wheels. I've got wheel bolts. I've got some center caps. I got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, I got suspension, air ride, all that stuff. And if you need something for your Honda or your Volvo or whatever, you need some coilovers, let me know. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.